Hello and welcome to session 5 of Keepers of the Golden Gate, or should I say The Keepers of the Golden Gate, because it is a ridiculously long title. This is the 24th of May 2019. I am Ryan, the GM, and here are the players.
Hi, I'm Callum. I'm playing a human sorcerer called Aeric Rainwood.
Hi, I'm Adrienne. I play Arya Bluebird, who is half elf druid.
Is it me?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I can't see. I'm Sophie. I play Kitty the Kill. I'm a Tabaxi rogue.
Hello, I'm Stuart. I play Reach, a half-elf monk.
And we don't have a Crumbar with us this week, alas. No.
Oh.
I know. Terrible. In the briefest of 5 minutes, how has everyone's week been since we last played? How's everyone been?
Well, I
Been
did
okay.
a shift today in 3 hours, and the rest of it was just more. But other than that, it's been okay. Busy, but okay.
I've had a pretty hectic week myself as well. But, hey, Comic-Con, London, amazing stuff.
I was going to say, how was today for you two?
Really chill. It wasn't that busy today. Tomorrow. That'll be another question for tomorrow.
Yeah, I actually consider the Friday to be the test run day for NTM Comic-Con London because there's some people around. There is obviously things going on, but nowhere near what is going to be on Saturday and Sunday.
It'll be interesting to hear your tales and see more images. As I said, to take many images, many of them. Ideally with some kind of dance music video thing with that shower button, if possible. And those at home listening, good luck working that out. What about you, Cal?
I've had a week of shouting out managers at work.
Yeah, fun. And we had a very good long chat about your character in the meantime as well.
Yeah.
I love that, that's so reassuring. Oh yeah.
That's by the notes.
That's why there are notes, indeed. Right, okay. That's good enough for a pre-game. We'll do better, right? Who remembers what happened last time?
None of us met a golden dragon.
Oh, you're getting ahead of yourself. We got to the city, we lost the kid, we found the kid, we talked him out of buying the entire ink shop, and then we went and found the big dragon boss guy.
Well, we haven't found it.
Well,
I mean,
actually, yeah.
You're like a flight of stairs away. I mean, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
I said way overall, but in that way.
Yeah, I got you. And just for clarity, I think we did speak about this last time, but you chose the Circle of the Shepherd, you said, didn't you? That was what your level up choice was for level 2.
Yeah.
Awesome. I'm going to have a look over that at some point just to try and familiarise myself with it a bit more so I can help if need be. But also just to get a bit more knowledge about what it's like, because it means if I know what you're going to be able to use, I can at least try and have situations where it would be useful or not to see if you would use it, which could be awesome. But yeah, so we had a wonderfully, I guess, like focused Crumbar at the end of the last session. With his quest for golden ink for young Eremos, as he was told he has to go sign in with the kind of like the chapter, I guess, or the order kind of people. I have to go sign in with them to obviously make a start in the resource acquisition, I think we'll call it. Heads up the stairs and then is greeted by that mightily bearded man, the 8 foot something, almost, 4 foot wide, I think I said, something like that, ridiculous.
Something like that.
Yeah, something absolutely ridiculous. If I go quiet randomly, I'll be coughing.
It's why as our little tabaxi is tall, right?
Yeah, pretty much. One kitty la kill long. But yeah, and his face lights up with his big glowing eyes when he sees Crumbar walk into the office and just says, "Crumbar dinner book," and goes over and just embraces him, bear hugs him off the ground. And that's where we ended it, revealing Odyssea, the Great Goldworm. in a humanoid form, if nothing else. So we're going to open with a bit of a cutscene to patch in the lack of a Crumbar, and Crumbar is sat down by this huge man, and he's kind of like, as I said, unceremoniously dumped on the ground, and he's like, "Just the paladin I'm looking for," with his big booming voice that fills the room, and he says, "I have a mission for you." And it does that nice fade to the lower levels where yous are all sitting, waiting, or standing, waiting, or however yous are indeed waiting. And yous are in the kind of reception area of the Golden Order Hall that yous are in just now. I'll probably change the name of this building a million times. Chapter, hall, church, like fortress, fort, bunker, shed. Like, it's fine. But Crumbar comes. Very pale for Crumbar, normally he's very full of colour. Kind of like just automatically walks down the stairs. You hear the thud, 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 thud of the armour and him in said armour. Get to the bottom.
Walking in stealth.
Yeah, he's in stealth mode. Because he's not talking. Sorry, Scott, but you're not here to defend yourself, so you're an easy target. And thud, thud, thud. Down you come. And he gets to the bottom, and he kind of just looks at the group, and then looks straight at you, Reach. But as I said, he looks... You don't even need to roll, it's that obvious. Obviously pale, like he's just seen a ghost.
What's up, Crumbar?
And he goes to speak, and like somebody kind of defeated, or like kind of with no drive left in them. He kind of goes to speak and then goes, "You'll..." And he stops, and then he kind of like almost reinvigorates himself, and he kind of, clearing his throat and stuff, goes, "You're wanted upstairs," and kind of thumbs up the stairs to him. He's like, "I have to go get a ship. I'll be back." And he kind of looks at the group as if he's not sure if he was waiting on permission or acknowledgement, but then kind of shakes his head and realises that the orders he's been given kind of supersede that, so he thus just leaves.
Okay.
And obviously, normally I would let you guys talk and whatnot to him, but I can't because Scott isn't actually here to respond. So
yeah.
So I'm just going to have him narratively be excused and go look for a ship, apparently. Yeah.
Do we all go upstairs?
Sure call, man. You were the... I mean, you're the next in line here, right?
Yeah, kind of, yeah. I say we all go upstairs. See, they'll stop us anyway if it's not happy about it. So we all go upstairs.
Well, is there
I presume I can...
I was going to say there can be a discussion about that. What's everybody's thoughts on that when Reach turns around and proposes this? We go meet the boss of this chapter.
Well, I'm curious.
Yeah. Do we want to take the kid upstairs? That's the only question.
I don't think it'll take us towards, certain death. But,
Or like the Great Gold Worm, for example, yeah. Remember, that is an unknown element to this, because Crumbar definitely did not reveal that.
Yeah, we have no idea what we're going to also.
He looks like a kid that came back from the headmaster's office and was told off. That's what he looks like, to be honest, when he walked back.
I think we'll probably all be curious, what on earth got him to
be so quiet.
Yeah, what made him toe the line?
Yeah. Whatever, there's something serious and we want everybody to know about it. Maybe not the kid, but tough luck, yeah. Right.
Who would stay down with the kid if we did leave the kid?
That's the question. That's why I would, we as well just all going up. We'd rather everybody be involved. Right. Well,
the thing is, okay, guys.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody has kind of freaked out Crumbar, right? Then we're just going to assume this guy's a bit scary. And as we know that
Eremos?
Eremos. I was about to say Erevan and I knew that was wrong.
Aragon,
We know that Eremos is, at least by women, seen as a weapon. We don't want to risk somebody that scary maybe seeing that in the kids. So I'll let you go and I'll stay with the kid. trusting that you will fill me in later on.
Definitely. Yeah. I can't argue against it. So yeah.
Because the kid likes me.
Mhm.
I like him, kind of.
Right.
I mean, he's alive, and I like keeping things alive. So yes.
It's always a positive, isn't it?
Well, I'm going to go up and see what's caused it.
Cool. So Kitty and Reach are heading up. Arya and Eremos are staying down. Crumbar has wandered off to find a ship. What's Aeric
Aeric.
doing?
Eric kind of feels like he wants to see what's going on upstairs. Curiosity has been piqued.
Mm-hmm.
So he follows Intel behind Cat and Monk.
And luckily enough, if it is indeed a dangerous situation, the cat's going to go first based on your previous sentence. So we are sorted. I know, terrible joke. Moving on. So, 5 GM points to me. Thank you, Ryan.
Well, to be honest, if shields and cats are anything like this in this world, they probably have 9 lives, right?
Sure.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. So, probably not doing it.
Yeah, sure. Let's go with that. We've lost Arya, but it's just because she was AFK. There we go. Now, also for those at home, if you're wondering why our audio is interesting, yeah, it is interesting. Thank you for noticing, and also just being present to listen while you're here. Like, subscribe, other things, share it with friends. Back in the game. So you head upstairs for those of you that are, and as some people split off, we focus on Arya and Eremos, and Eremos goes to walk upstairs as well. Do you do anything to stop him, Arya?
No, we should stay here, Amos. I don't know what they're headed in, but I have a bad feeling.
And then Eremos looks at you, and then looks at the fact that this new guy's going, and Crumbar had left, so he's kind of looking between I assume obviously Aeric is the last person to head up the stairs, Reach being first, then Kitty, then Aeric, and then he's looking at Aeric, and then the door where Crumbar was, and he's looks back at you a bit you can tell he's a bit upset that everybody's split up, but he kind of looks at you and then kind of puffs out his chest and grabs his little backpack straps and goes, "Well, I'll stay here and protect you."
Oh, thank you.
And he kind of nods once, and his hair kind of falls over his shoulders and stuff. And then I think we fade over to Reach at the office door, pushes it open, yeah, enters.
Yep.
Trying to give me a perception check.
Yeah.
And also
Yes,
just
I
an
do.
intelligence roll as well, please.
Ooh.
So that's intelligence. Actually, give me a history check instead. It's history I want you to do
History,
instead. Yeah.
It's probably not. Oh dear. Hope that's all my badge rolls done.
We'll see.
That's the do you know who I am element.
So you go in, and again, as you walk in, maybe, I don't know, you can tell me obviously how Reach reacts to this type of thing, but there's just this overwhelming presence that just there's an emanation of power. As I said, very tangible. As soon as you walk in the office, even before you've really taken in the fact that there are 2 people in the office. Does Reach react defensively? Is there a pose? Is there because this does
That'd be more.
Yeah.
I would think. I was thinking, but
It's up to you, yeah. If it is a kind of almost stunned awe.
yeah, so
you're
more
walking.
of a stunt though.
Mhm.
That's-
And then obviously Kitty and then Adric walk in as well. So you're all in the office, and again you all feel this kind of almost resonating kind of almost, again as I said, pressure. If you're underwater and you're painfully aware of the feeling of it around you, pressing on you.
Yeah, my whiskers and ears would be twitching.
Yeah, it's probably really uncomfortable for that exact reason, that it's constant, as I said, tactile sensation all over you. And Aeric, this is something very similar to just if you met somebody with raw magical potential, right? This is just raw power that you're feeling, power that is barely being hidden, almost it's leaking through. So yeah, if you want to give me an Arcana check.
Ooh.
Nice.
oh,
That is yeah, this is the type of thing that could you'd imagine if something had leveled a mountain, this would be the wake of power that you'd feel.
I imagine Eric like kind of hunched over slightly, holding onto his chest, feeling what immense pressures. Like it feels like it's crushing him.
Yeah. And then as you kind of got over this initial, because this is just, you walk in, the light kind of dissipates, and it does that kind of fade where we start to see the characters come into focus. And the big jolly man, as I said, with his smiley face and such. I think we all remember what he looks like from last time when I shared the image. I've not put it onto Roll20 yet, but eventually I will. And yeah, he smiles and he says, "Dawn's golden reach," and he just walks over and then just again bear hugs you as well.
Hello.
And then he just picks you up and kind of crushes you a bit and then sits you back down, and you get put down with a thud. Your kneecaps feel it, and you stare at his big hands on your shoulders, and he's like, "How have you been?" And that word takes you back to 8 years previously. Put it that way.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, as if he was fully aware you were sequestered away. Put it that way.
Yeah.
And again, it's more of a magical conveyance than anything else. It is almost like he's letting you know he knows.
Okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Quiet till recently. That's my answer.
Runs a hand through his beard and kind of obviously as if he's reaching for his chin hidden in there somewhere, and he kind of nods. And he's like, "Yes, very, very quiet until recently." And he kind of nods, and his eyes kind of dim a little, as if he's thinking about that. And then he turns and kind of smiles again, and puts his hand to the side as if he's just been distracted and just noticed the fact that there are 2 other people. And he's like, "And you've brought friends."
Yes, we've been travelling together, some of us for some time. Yeah, probably don't want to say much more. Although I always think, but
Do you say anything? Does Kitty or Aeric say anything? Because obviously this 8-foot godly man.
that's the point. This is Kitty, and this is Aeric. Introducing
I'm
us.
hiding behind Reach.
What I like is maybe we only noticed you when Reach was picked up originally. Maybe it was just...
He just gets picked up and I'm just there oh crap, my hiding spot has been discovered.
Yeah. But yeah.
I just do a little cheeky, a little scared wave, I guess. Just
And does your clothes indicate House Rainwood in any way? I know your ring definitely does. We know that. But yeah, I take it that the rest of it does as well. If we talked about some kind of, I don't know, maybe blue fabric with kind of silver cloud or something on it.
yeah.
Maybe it could be a cloud over a bare tree or something like that to give it a bit more of a almost Gondor style feel to it. That could be kind of cool.
I'm
can
down with the Gondor style.
Yeah, I figured you might be. So yeah, it's just something that he can obviously look at and kind of rub it against his chin a bit, and he's like, you can see he's taking the measure of you, and he kind of again then turns to Reach and goes, "Do you know you're travelling with Lord Rainwood's son?"
No, this is our newest arrival
Companion?
to the group companion. Yeah. But no, that's interesting.
Amazing. At that point, as you're oh yeah,
lie.
and as you just kind of look between yourself, and obviously then Kitty says, companion, yes, and then it's almost as if Odyssea has kind of started to ignore both of you now, and he walks towards Aeric, and I don't know, as he's walking towards, he doesn't seem as almost imposing as he did when you first walked in. Almost he definitely didn't change size, but he definitely feels like he's maybe a normal 6-foot person as opposed to being the 8-foot tall, fills the room, giant candle in the dark type thing. And he just goes over and puts a hand on your shoulder and kind of looks very solemnly into you and says, "I'm sorry to hear about your parents."
I thank you for your condolences.
And he kind of just like nods, and like the grip and just weight of that hand is ridiculous as well. Like even Crumbar would be pale at this, and he kind of like almost like uses his other hand. So if it's his right hand that's gripping your shoulder, and then he just kind of like slaps you on the shoulder with his left, and a kind of almost, well, onwards though, eh? And then he kind of like steps back into the room that way, again reassuming his seemingly 8 foot tall stature again for you. Probably one of those things where people probably wouldn't have noticed, but the background of the shot, if it was like a TV show, would have been all kind of darker in that moment, whereas it focused in on you two, and then the light bleeds back in again. And then he says, "Reach, I am in need of order staff." And then he kind of stops and kind of looks away. He's like, "Paladins need to attend something for me." So, as a timeout again, if you're part of the Golden Order, you're generally considered a paladin, regardless of what actual class from the rulebook you happen to be. They're generally paladins of the Golden Order. You do obviously get monks, etc., etc. There's a monk order, but if you then join, if you're part of the order, you're considered a paladin. Therefore, if you're taken in by them, you're expected to, if need be, defend them. Thus and so. Just like if a wizard joined up, and they'd still be considered a paladin of the Golden Order. They'd just be like an arcane person, or whatever. So he will refer to you as a paladin. So, and he kind of like looks at the commander and then says, "I'll need the room, and you have things that you should be doing, Commander." And then the commander obviously does his salute and nods, and then kind of like walks by you, Reach, and obviously the rest of you, but he looks straight into like you, and then gives you this look. Do you want to roll insight for me? Yeah, so it gives you a look, and you don't know if he's disappointed with you or just worried for you. You know, it's one of those, can't quite tell, but there's definitely a look that he was trying to convey something, right? But what that something is now, who knows? But yeah, we'll never know now. So he leaves the room, the door closes behind him, and then Odysseia kind of leans against the desk, and he says, "Please, have a seat." And then he kind of like waves his hand, and like just chairs appear, just golden, like chairs.
Sit down. Everybody else?
Yeah, just like go over, sit down, but kind of not take my gaze off the Odyssey.
Mm-hmm. And he says, "Now, Dawn's Golden Reach, you and your companions are encouraged, in fact, to join. However, this will be incredibly dangerous. I am troubled by events in the south." And he kind of just like looks over and kind of, again, it's hard to gauge his face because his eyes are obviously glowing bright white, with that kind of golden edge to them, likewise. And his beard is obviously kind of giving off like kind of weird gold light as well. But he's kind of just staring.
Is it in the temple of the doors, the gateways?
And like the eyes narrow. And he says, "I wouldn't be so quick to speak of such things." And he kind of like looks at you, but then you notice his eyes moving, and as much as they can, you notice the facial reaction of him looking at both Aeric and then Kitty.
Yeah.
Obviously, though, it's up to you if you want to reveal more about that.
We look to Aeric and Kitty. Just can he a small can he hand? Do I want to say more? Can he handshake like not quite a shrug, but do we want to say more?
Yeah, so like Reach leans over and tries to indicate to you guys like, are we going? Are we being open? Are we not? Like, what's? I imagine it's Kitty you probably look to first. So
probably. Yeah.
So what is Kitty's response to like noticing Reach stare at you as if, are we saying more?
I just sort of make like a hand movement of like a little handshake, sort of.
Yeah.
A little bit, kind of like a little bit more, but not all of it kind of thing. Like, I don't know how
My,
to describe the hand movement.
I met my who's here? I met Kitty and Arya, who's still downstairs at the temple, so that they're aware of it. And we've travelled here.
You kind of see him like again. Hand gets lost in the beard for a bit. As he starts to like go for his chin again, as if he's just kind of pondering it over. He goes, "Do you trust them?"
With my life, several times so far.
And he goes, very well. Celeste's nightmare. And then we crossfade to Arya. So, Arya, you've got Eremos asking you like probably the 50th question by now, just about random stuff about the city. And keep in mind, I don't think you know much about Glitterhagen, considering it's like a trade city, and you're from like the diagonally opposite side of the world. Like obviously, if you've been to Glitterhagen or whatever, cool. You let me know. But Eremos just asks like question after question after question, and you've probably been able to answer like 5 of them out of like the 50 odd he's asked. Because every time you can't answer, he'll just ask something else that's almost tumbled out beyond that.
Are you sure he's like 10 and not like...
Not like what? Sorry, you cut off.
Are you sure he's like 10 and not like 5?
I mean, are you sure?
Yeah, I get what you're coming from. Okay. I'm interested that my answers when I don't know range from I don't know. We can find out. We'll see. You know, depending on the questions. So I'll probably like try to fend off the way you would with.
With what? Sorry, because again you cut out again at the end.
Any kid, like any kid that's asking a million questions, like.
Yeah, try and placate them as best you can.
I wouldn't lie to him. I'll be like, I don't know. We'll find out. Maybe we'll see. Maybe we'll find out. Maybe we will go there if he does ask something. Or
well, can you make a charisma save for me then? We'll see how well he reacts to you.
Okay.
That's a charisma save. And if you need somebody else to roll it for you, don't worry. That can be done as well. You just keep us.
Find it again.
There we go.
Yeah. I'm just being blind, sorry.
That's alright.
Oh, it's fine. So this is why we're here. Help each other out. So, yeah.
Yeah, Sophie is.
I get to actually do it in person.
He gets quite fed up quite quickly. See, when the fact that he's realizing that it's not like reading a book talking to a person. Like, you can just keep reading to get an answer, whereas every time he asks a question that he's interested in knowing, he's not used to not being able to get the answer, so he gets quite frustrated, and then he starts like asking the clerk at the desk just as well, just random question, and you can see this person's just done.
Oh God, I'm gonna get kicked out. Yeah,
like they're just rolling their eyes. At first they were like, "Oh hey kid, you know, yeah, sure, that's a question, yeah. Why is the armor gold? It's the Golden Order. Yeah. What is that? A dragon on my shoulder? Yeah, there's a couple of dragons on the armor. Yeah, it's a great gold worm. What makes them great? Okay. Like just loads of questions, and obviously like anytime one of them's really really interesting, Ermos will write it in his book. Just anytime there's an interesting one that comes up. But what makes it interesting seems a mystery to you. From what you can tell, he just seems to be like excited about the most mundane things sometimes, and then really bored with the most interesting things, even for like say a druid to learn. And the entire time he's constantly looking down at like the rows and rows of books that are further down the hall, because obviously he just wants to go read. Let's face it, and you can see that there's books stored here. So that's him. He's pretty much just almost like just talking constantly, in the hopes that he'll finally, I guess, entertain himself, because he knows he can't just go back and read the books despite wanting to. Given that obviously you've kind of like not manhandled him, but you've kept him close to you, and he doesn't also want to leave you either because he's decided that he's going to protect you as well.
Oh.
But you can definitely get a sense of restlessness from the kid.
Sure.
Do you want to interact with him in any way, or are you happy to kind of just leave him to kind of tire himself out?
I'll keep an eye on him, but at the end of the day, he's a kid, and if he's keeping himself, well, entertained and safe, well, not entertained, but you know what I mean. If he's keeping himself occupied and safe, that's basically all I want from him right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it makes sense.
I just want to keep him away from whatever scary thing they're dealing with upstairs.
No, definitely. So it gets to the point where he's been sitting writing for about maybe 10 minutes into the conversation when he gets up and he asks the clerk, he's like, "Do you have a weapon?" And then the clerk's eyes just dart over to you as if, oh god, why is the kid asking this? Because that's a really weirdly suspicious question, even from a 10-year-old. So it's almost.
And I chatted with what he once said about how, you know, the pen is the biggest weapon ever. So I'm like, yes, you have a pen. You have your weapon.
And then the kid kind of looks over at you, and I take a break in the RP briefly to have a moment that me and Stu shared when we went and seen John Wick 3, by the way.
John Wick moment, yeah.
One of the first fights. Spoiler alert, anyone for John Wick 3. One of the first fights involves someone being killed with a book in a library, and it was just perfect timing after that last
So
session
good.
where we said this is the best weapon when Eramos held the book up above his head, and it was literally just it was perfect.
I did have a wee moment just to yeah, that is mightier than the sword.
So Eramos wasn't wrong, you know. Need to show that to Scott at some point in that scene. But meanwhile, back in there, so the clerk obviously looks a wee bit worried, but they're like in full paladin armor anyway. And he's obviously like, "Do you have a weapon?" Yeah, and the kid's like, "Oh, do you have a weapon?" And he looks over at you just to be shifty, the clerk, and then and he kind of like straightens up and he's like,
So I said, you have your weapon, you have your book.
and then Eramos like he kind of glares at you a little bit, but only in a kind of "that's not what I mean" kind of child way, you know, as if you're not listening. And then he kind of turns back and he's like clutching his book in his arms, like crossed over it, and he's looking. He's like, "Well, do you?" And then obviously he's got his quill in his hand, and the clerk looks up and is like, closes the book that he's looking at, kind of pushes it to the side, and then just walks round the side of like the desk that he's at, and then puts his hand on the blade on his hip, and he's like, "All members of the order have weapons," and kind of looks down at the kid who's like half his height, and it's just this kind of side-on view of this small dark-haired child clutching a book, staring up at this twice as tall man covered in gold armor with a big sword on him, and Eramos is like, "Can I see it?" And then the guy just looks over at you and is like, "Only if your mum allows."
I'm not, but yes.
So what was Arya's response to that?
I'm not his mother, but yes.
You can look at the gentleman's weapon.
And then the kind of order member just kind of nods and goes, "Apologies," and then looks back at the kid, and it's like, "Tell you what, if I can look at your book, you can look at my sword." And then Eramos kind of goes, and like kind of half turns away from him, holding the book tighter, and then you can clearly see the kids at this kind of, you know, knife edge deciding point. So it's up to you, Arya. You can use an attempt to like nudge him either way.
Thing is, would the book show anything? That's the question.
Be curious to know.
So yeah, Arya, for you, essentially the guy's leaned down to the kid and was like, "I'll tell you what, I'll make you a deal. You can see my sword if I can see your book." And then the kid's half turned away from him, clutching the book a bit tighter, and he's in that exact point where you'd be like, you could say something to nudge him, either to reassure him or to tell the guard back off a wee bit, he's a bit precious over his books, or you could be like, "Eramos, it's fine, you can show people your book, it's not a bad thing, you know, you can look
Yeah,
at the
I'm
guy's
gonna
sword.
go with that. So I'm curious if this guy can read it. So I'll be like, it's fine, Aramis. You can show them the book.
And then he kind of like looks up.
You want.
Like he looks over at Arya, and he obviously doesn't want to be kind of seen to be, what's the word, like weak, I guess, in his mind. So obviously he's protecting you. So he then you can see him relax his grip a bit on the book and holds out, and he just says to the man, he's like, "Be careful, it's my favourite thing," and then holds it out really quickly, like a kid would do when he kind of shoves it into his chest. And then the guy kind of like chuckles a bit. He's like, "I'll be very careful." And then he like picks up the book and sits it on the desk and says, "Now you need to be very careful too. While it's not my favourite thing, it's saved my life quite a few times." And Eremos kind of like scrunches up his eyebrows a bit, like kind of like furrows his brow. And then the guy pulls his sword out of the sheath. It makes that wonderful shing sound. And then he like hands it to Eremos, who kind of like gets it, but then obviously it clunks to the ground instantly because it's, like a long sword. And Eremos is kind of just there propping up the end of it, I guess, at this point, really. He's not exactly really wielding it, as you were. And he's kind of just like looking at the hilt and looking at the blade. And then the guy's kind of leaning back against the desk, just kind of chuckling away to himself a bit, like kind of stifling it so the kid isn't being embarrassed or anything by it, but he's just kind of watching this kid kind of struggle with it. And then after like a second or two, Arya, if you're not going to make a move or anything on the kids,
I think he might not be able to hold it, so I'm gonna try to make a move to like at least.
Yeah, you can totally go over and help him lift it, yeah, because he definitely cannot just lift the blade aloft with ease. Like he'd probably get there eventually and maybe stagger back a few steps or whatever, but no, he's definitely struggling. So yeah, you can move in and help him.
I will move in and like literally pick it up, like how you can hold it on both your arms, kind of like you're offering it to somebody, and like so that he can see the full thingy.
Yeah, and I think like absent-mindedly, as you're helping him do this, he just kind of says thank you to kind of no one, if that makes sense. He just kind of says thank you automatically, as he's clearly obsessed by looking at this blade. And then obviously it's a fairly fancy sword. It's in the sense of it's a really simple design, but it's made of like gold all around the hilt. The actual blade itself has a tiny bit of gold inlay, which looks like fire creeping up the blade, just for maybe about 10 centimeters or so into it, like kind of lines of gold fire. There's obviously like a dragon pommel at the end of it, because Great Gold Worm, Golden Order, you get it. They're a bit gaudy, as it were. Yeah, no pun intended. And so the kid just kind of like a bit fascinated with this, and then the guy kind of just absent-mindedly picks up the book and just like leans over the desk with a quarter turn, flips open a page, and then just starts to like flick through it. And as we can all imagine, it's completely blank. It's completely blank.
Can I see with like corner mile or whatever that even to that?
You can roll perception, yeah, because as he notices the pages are all blank, it obviously fades back upstairs, but I'll definitely give you a perception check to see if you notice that or not. Yeah, you notice it. It's easy. It's maybe more so that you notice the guy's reaction, be like, huh, like as if, why is this the kid's favourite thing if it's blank? And then obviously, you notice the pages are blank as he's turning them. And then we fade back upstairs.
Also, can I just tell what this guy is? Like, is he human? Is he like the guard?
Oh, like what race he is? Yeah, he's human. Yeah.
No, in the sense of like to try to figure out if whether you can see it or not is in any way related to what you are.
Yeah, well, he is human from what you can tell. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yep. And I can't remember if I described much about him last time, but yeah, he's just like generically human. And so we fade back upstairs, and the last thing you guys heard was Celeste's nightmare. Cue the reaction shots, obviously, of probably at least two of you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Eric's just like, what?
Yeah. So I think that's it's obviously we've got the shot of like Reach in the middle of the chair with Kitty off to the the right hand side of the screen, Aeric to the left, and then them two being kind of shocked and maybe looking at each other, and Aeric just sitting there like, oh wait, what? And then Odyssea breaks the the reaction moment, and says, "I too have been troubled by events in the south, dreams and such." And he kind of like makes like a kind of vague hand motion with his arm to the sky, as if kind of waving like the Queen. And then he kind of looks back and goes, "I am aware of Celeste's involvement with you all. I, of course, released Reach," and he does use the shorthand this time. "I released Reach into her service," and then he wouldn't use the term 8 years ago, but it just implies that it was in the past. And then he kind of just, you can see he's clearly got like a lot of thoughts going on constantly, with the way he's kind of vague at how he responds to things, but anytime he kind of engages, you almost feel like the wave of water hitting you. Anytime he focuses on an individual for a conversation, almost like he sometimes struggles containing his entire presence, maybe. And so he's there. He kind of like gets lost in thought a bit. What's your reactions to the small bombshell?
I would rather just sit quiet at the moment because I'd never admitted a new Celeste, so I'd rather just see where this is.
Well, I'm not going to reveal anything if it's not.
Yeah, I think you're kind of taking point from Reach here, or taking the cues from Reach. What's Aeric doing and thinking?
What the hell? Who? What? What's Celeste?
Good answer.
Yeah. So, with that, he says, "Yes, I think you've all been..." And then he kind of like looks over the group and he kind of lingers on Aeric when he's thinking this. He says, "I think you've all been..." He lingers, staring at Aeric. "Touched by Celeste in one way or another. You may know her as the Hooded Woman." And he's still staring directly at you, Aeric.
Then it clicks and he gets a sudden realization. He's like, "Ah!" Like, I do know, I think.
Mm-hmm. And he kind of like, with your realization, you can clearly see that he's clicked to the fact that you're now up to speed. Let's just say he has good wisdom, put it that way. And he looks around at the group again and says, "Yes, Celeste is an old friend. Possibly my oldest friend." And he kind of chuckles to himself, just as if remembering something he's just, like found funny. And then he says, "Yes, I'm sending an expedition of the Golden Order to investigate the trouble in the Abyss."
What kind of trouble?
And then he kind of like points his finger straight at you, like, "Exactly!" And he kind of like smiles, like, again, Zeus from Hercules.
I jump at this, like, not expecting to get, like, pointed at and shouted at, kind of thing.
Yeah, boom!
Like,
So, and he is like quite excited at the fact that you seem to have clicked on at exactly his point.
So we're off to the... You'd like us to go to the massive chasm of fire in the south to have a look, see what's happening.
Yeah, so for every day at home, I'll just
That
ping
sounds
that.
fun.
Yeah, so
It does, doesn't it?
it's only just like a wee travelly journey all the way down. To like
That's only
the
50 feet.
abyss.
Okay, I thought it was far.
Yeah, it's totally fine. That's just a dash action to get there. That's
oh, yeah.
But so he kind of leaves you lingering that, and he says, "If you are taking your companions, perhaps you wish all of them to be in attendance." And he looks straight at you, Reach, implying Arya downstairs.
I would like... Yes, all of them, yes. Our companion downstairs is with a child.
And he kind
Can
of
he
just looks
come
at
as
you,
well?
and like there's an eyebrow raised, and he goes, "Is she now?"
Yes, we weren't sure how appropriate it would have been to bring the child up here. It's probably not a good idea, but it's not, obviously it's your decision.
"I say, the more, the merrier." And then like he waves his hand, and like a table between him leaning against the desk and where he's made these seats for you three, like another 2 seats appear, and a table full of like golden goblets and plates full of like, well, it's relatively simple-ish food, but it's presented very fancily, like
Yeah.
sliced buttered bread and things like that. And yes, I did say sliced bread.
Yeah, sliced bread.
Yeah.
Oh, they have.
Yeah. And then obviously it says the more the merrier, and kind of gestures towards the door.
Excellent. Can I go to the door, open up, and shout on Arya and Eramus to come up?
You could also just
So
go up,
do
and
that.
go downstairs and pick them up if you really wanted to. Do you know what I mean? It's,
Nah, it's like, well, it's top of the stairs or whatever, just kind of shout. It's, come up, we're having a meal.
roll a perception check, Arya.
Okay.
For me shouting.
Yeah. Ermos is a handful.
So if Celeste is like his very good friend, shouldn't we ask him about the Black Fang spear?
Yeah, probably.
So, yeah,
Because I'm kind of concerned about having the kid in the same room as him, just in case something might happen.
I've
Like
got
being
no
in his
worries
presence
about him.
triggers something.
I've got no worries about him handling the something, but I've got worries about him not liking the something.
Mm.
well, let's have a wee chat about that, right, for a wee 5 minutes, because I quite like the thought process you have there, Sophie. Who made the Black Fang spear?
Good question. The king who lives in the middle of the Mediterranean, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So he lives in the capital, right in the middle, and why did he make it?
Very
To
good
kill
question. Yeah.
the Great Dragon, the Great Goals.
I mean, we don't know.
What's nice?
Is the answer to that? To be honest, we don't.
Yeah.
He made a weapon, and what are weapons made for? Thus and so.
Killing. Usually.
And
Killing, basically,
he's tried to keep it hidden.
in
Celeste
the form
is
of a child.
potentially, if indeed
what
Eremos is
better
the
way
Black
to
Fang
get-
spear.
Does he have like a lot of like enemies or people that he would want to conquer more land and whatever from?
I mean, the Dwarf King and Elf Queen are still in charge of their people.
And from history and stuff, do we know anything about like people, like humans, having tried to steal territory from the elves, and like have there been a lot of wars and stuff, or have usually people?
Why don't you
their
give me
own little-
a history check?
Yeah, I thought that might be the case.
Yeah, my thought process is like, what better way to get something close to someone you want to kill than in the form of an innocent child you wouldn't think twice of?
Yeah.
Oh, you're sadistic.
She is playing a
Well-
rogue.
Yeah.
Got to
shit.
think of these things.
Yep, she's thinking
Go.
with her class. So, with that 14 in history, you know enough that the Wizard King's rise to power was not without conflict. But then there was a calming effect afterwards, in the sense of his order kept stability. Whether or not that's through some mild level of tyranny is left to the historians. So, as a member of the forest, as it were, the forest kept its distance but kept its borders secure. Put it that way, from air quote civilization.
Okay.
It has kept itself wild deliberately. Not without lack of trying, obviously, from various entities within the world. The elves and air quote human kingdoms haven't always been at peace. The dwarfs and elves are technically at war, or at least a third of the elven kingdom or queendom is at war with the dwarves. Not publicly, of course, that would be unbecoming. Dwarfs obviously answer to themselves and don't particularly bend the knee to the Wizard King, but that's just because the Dwarf King would never leave the throne unprotected in Forge, which is the capital for the dwarfs, which is under the H there. And yeah, if there was a public debate and the Elf Queen, Wizard King and Dwarf King were there, and somebody asked the question of who's in charge of who, a war would be instantaneous. Put it that way. It's such a powder keg, because the Wizard King is a problem if somebody pokes the bear. But
Yeah.
if you leave him running everything the way he wants to, it's fine, right? So, and he has, for the most part, kept people safe. He's got the Midland Sea free of monsters for people. Like, he protects the cities. You know, his daughter founded the Prismatic Order, right? They're like the magic police. Like, so he's got armies that protect people from various raids and attacks from other creatures and such. Never mind magical threats from elsewhere or people dabbling in stuff they shouldn't. So, for the most part, yeah, like if the elves ever decide to attack one of the cities, for example, like the Wizard King would be there, not necessarily personally, but his forces would be there protecting it. So again, not a bad person, but wasn't necessarily innocent or moral getting to where he got to. You know? As I said before, relationship-wise, these are, especially the fact that we've got Golden Order members, the Great Gold Worm has no love for the Wizard King, but the Great Gold Worm's job isn't to rule everything. So, the Wizard King wanted that job, clearly. So, that's fine. But the Wizard King does not like that the Great Gold Worm does not answer to him, and is worshipped like a god. Who would love to be worshipped like a god? The Wizard King. So yeah, and considering the Wizard King's policy on not being pro-religion, yeah, it's as I said, it's a powder keg. I'm so glad all of your matches came to play the game. But yeah, back in the scene, Arya, you barely hear someone shouting on you.
Right. I go downstairs and I'll go up to Arya, say, hello. Upstairs, we've been speaking with the Great Gold Worm, or Gold Dragon.
Ermos just runs past you.
Yeah, I thought you might hear that.
He literally just runs up the stairs. Unless anyone's going to try and stop him, he's bolted.
Yeah. He's invited us for dinner, and Eremos is apparently going in the right direction.
Eremos's book is still on the counter. The sword was dropped. He is bolted.
Right.
Yeah.
Can I roll like a thing to say that I hear him coming and like tackle him to the ground?
Well, I wanna see what they two do before he leaves their scene, as it were.
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
Do I notice the book's still there?
Apologize to the guy for the weapon being so unceremoniously dropped. And I pick up the book and put it in my own
Satchel? Bag?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I mean, I think you'll notice her obviously going for the book. That I guess if you take a good enough look, you'll recognise the style of cover, which is definitely the book style from Eremos's tower.
Good. Yeah, brilliant.
Yep.
We're
I'm
going.
guessing he's getting his wish.
Yeah, we're going upstairs then, Arya. Yeah, no one easy. Hopefully we'll still get golden ink, but he's definitely meeting a dragon.
I don't think he cares much about the golden ink.
No. Because, yeah. Getting the real thing now.
What I love though is as we fade back into the room upstairs, and we've just got the Great Gold Worm sitting there, like tapping his hands on the desk, making a kind of thumping noise. How awkward is Kitty and Aeric in the room?
I am just staring intently at him.
I'm just looking anywhere but like at the gold worm person. Like
there
just...
is like a massive table full of food in front of you as well.
I
So
was thinking, yeah, probably got a glass of milk on it or something. But,
I'd be like looking at all around the room, but like just proper eyeing a glass of milk up, like. Is that...
all of the goblets seem filled with like a kind of again golden liquid,
Wait, what?
like a golden liquid.
I only know of a couple of golden liquids.
Would it be made?
I mean, shrug.
Is it an amber ale?
So
you can get golden vodka, so
Eremos bursts into the room, and then
No, I want to roll up like a thing. Like, can I hear him running up the stairs?
well, that was what my question about the awkwardness was, right? Is to like you can decide, but are you going to be too focused on not getting his attention? By that I mean Odyssea's attention, versus like Eremos, who isn't exactly making a lot of noise getting up the stairs. Because these are huge stone steps, and Eremos doesn't exactly make much sound.
Yeah, but I'm a cat and I got good hearing.
Yeah, that's fine. If you think you'd be listening for it, yeah, you can make a perception check. Yeah. As I said, this is always a back and forth conversation. I'll present what I think, you present what you think, and then we make a judgment call.
I'll choose something that nobody
Oh.
likes.
Yeah, so you don't. It's either that he's too fast up the stairs or just too light on his feet. I mean, he isn't also like having a backpack swinging, hitting off each shoulder every time he runs now as well. And like he kind of just smacks into the room, and then you can just see him like kind of almost out of breath. You know, his hair's a wee bit less neat than it usually is, and he's looking around the room constantly, and he like looks under the table and stuff like that. Because obviously he's looking for a dragon.
Obviously, him bursting into the room made me jump, so now I'm just looking at him with like a really deadpan expression of the fuck you want, kid.
Yeah, like the kid's like crawling under the table, crawling under the desk and stuff as well, and like the Great Goldworm's doing that thing where he's lifting his arms up as if the kid's like looking around.
Meanwhile, Aeric is still just staring intently at the gold dragon.
Backpack, I've picked that up as well. Like, I would have picked up the book and whatever else he's left.
Yeah, imagine you lift his stuff. Yeah, you pick up his backpack, you put his book into it, and you just carry that upstairs as you and Reach head upstairs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, Arya and Reach get to the top of the stairs, and you head in unless you want to talk about stuff on the way up the stairs. It's up to you if you want to convey anything to each other.
If good point. The Goldworm you're about to meet knows about Celeste, and he did mention something about Celeste Nightmare.
So first of all, here's a couple of bombs in that sentence for you, Arya. The Great Goldworm, just in general, still that bomb that might have to sink into you since it was mentioned 2 seconds ago, and then Celeste's Nightmare.
But he does not. He has not talked about Black Fang's spear yet, although that probably is part of Celeste's Nightmare, I would expect.
Wait, so they're somehow connected, and then for some reason he wants to speak to us? Like,
they're Celeste and Goldworm are probably they're best of pals. But I don't know how much the Goldworm knows of Celeste's plan, and we don't even know exactly what Celeste's plan is. So, more to the point.
We perhaps walking into a trap here. How are we to know that actually work with? Well, that he doesn't want the weapon for himself.
Well, I would say he wouldn't be the worst person to have the weapon, but he's generally not out to conquer the world or anything.
Like, it would not take much to notice if the Great Goldworm wanted to. I mean, he has an entire army at his disposal that are all very well kitted out and skilled, and he is a super powerful dragon worshipped as a god. So, if he was going to make a play, yeah, right, he could. But he's let the Wizard King be the Wizard King. He's let the Elf Queen be the Elf Queen. He's let the Dwarf King be the Dwarf King. The forest,
really
like,
okay.
Yeah, like the spirit of the forest is the spirit of the forest. You know, it keeps to everybody's kind of left to their own corner of the world.
Yeah, it keeps the status quo, even though he's more than got the power to change it. Okay, that was.
That's okay. No, but it's not a bad thing to have though, because obviously instinctively defensive is not the worst thing to be.
And saying that though, I'm not saying we give him the power, the weapon, or even make him aware of the weapon. I would rather play this by ear and see if he's aware of the weapon on his own, without us telling
Would I
him.
have heard exactly at the same time Celeste's nightmare? Because she told us that she fears that the weapon might fall into bad hands, but would that be her nightmare? Do I know that?
Well, you as a player probably know more. But you as a character, it's up to you. You could make a roll for, but realistically, Celeste's nightmare is the vision she showed you.
Okay, yeah, that's what I'm mentally trying to figure out. Okay, cool.
But your character could think of it as a combination, right, if you wanted to. But as a player, you know it was her vision that she shared with you.
That's fine.
The original four, as it were. Yeah.
Okay, so let's see what he was then.
And I mean, you could assumedly, considering Aeric turned up and said he needed a hooded woman, right? You could assume she's probably showing him the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had already assumed that. Yeah.
But yeah, so he's walking the room. Aramos is looking under desks and behind tables and lamps and stuff. And by lamps, I mean candelabra stands.
Do I notice the worm first, or do I notice...
It's hard to not notice him. He's kind of where the light from the room is coming from. Like you walk in and again, immediate pressure. The only roll a nature check. That's a better question. Arya. Okay. It's absolutely terrible. Roll it again. Because I actually wanted to say with advantage, but it's fine. Hopefully it's better. It's not, it's actually worse. My god. So even advantage didn't save you. That's fine.
Dear, oh dear.
You, as soon as you walk in the room, the feeling is immediately flooding you with nostalgia, but you don't know why. Like this feeling of being surrounded by that power is very familiar. And it's not exactly disconcerting, but it's not exactly comforting, if that makes sense. It's almost like a hyper-awareness and nostalgia, if that makes sense. If it doesn't, it's probably deliberate. With me, are you?
Yeah.
Good. Cool. So, you walk in the room, as Eremos is currently looking behind a standing candelabra thing.
Hello, Eremos. Meet the Golden Dragon.
And then, like, he's kind of sat there with like his arms folded across his like kind of chest, and he's kind of just smiling because he's been enjoying Eremos just looking around the room for this dragon. And Eremos kind of turns and goes, "What, him?" And like points at the big guy.
I said, yes, of course.
What is it? But where's his wings and his teeth? And then like, I guess everybody turns to look at.
See that just now.
Like,
I'm thinking the guy just transforms into a massive dragon in this room. It might be a fact.
Yeah. Everybody turns and stares at Odysseus, and Odysseus does that thing where he looks over at his shoulder, and he's like, "Oh, where have they gone?" And then kind of chuckles to himself.
Not all dragons have wings, but I'm sure he's got teeth.
And then like Odysseus stands up, and then kind of like points at you and goes, "That's actually not true," and then turns round to Eremos, and then he says, "Come here, child." And Eremos just eyes him and doesn't move, and then looks at you guys, a bit like a cornered kind of fox.
Once I know that, like, he's the one that's been introduced as the dragon, does any penny drop for me as to why I might have been feeling that earlier?
No, not yet. Definitely not yet. But yeah, like, you're looking at essentially an 8-foot guy with a giant glowing beard. Whether or not you think that merits him being the dragon or not, sure. It's just a guy that looks like a glowing man. But yeah, the kids just sit kind of like frozen, staring at you guys. What do you do? Well,
I guess we're all just looking at looking at him in shock, like.
Kind of want to question why he wants the kid next to him, but I can't figure out how to phrase it. That's what I'm being quiet here.
that's okay. So like, keep in mind you can outsource your questions. Like we can work on that as a group as well. That's never an issue. So you want to ask him why he wants to speak to the kid, or why he wants the kid closer to him. Yeah.
Yeah. Why?
So can anybody else think of a way that she could word that?
Why should he? He doesn't trust you.
I mean, if you want to deter him, you could say just don't crush him when, like, because he's huge, isn't he? Compared to kids, could be like what 3 foot tall, and that guy's like 8 foot tall. He's probably the size of up to his knee. So I don't know. Just say something about like don't squish him.
Odysseus, you knew all of us. Do you know this child?
And he's kind of it's almost like that falls upon deaf ears, you know? Like you say it, but he's still kind of just like waiting for the kid to respond to him. And then the very fact that you've spoke to Odysseus, the Eremos is like, if you're a dragon, prove it. I love the background noise that we got there, which is so perfect. She's like, there's someone just saying "fuck you" in the background. It's like heckling from like the Life of Brian style. So good.
I love my street.
Yeah. No,
Except when you've got fucking mopeds going down it.
Oh yeah.
it's okay. We'll just have to teach you the ways of push to talk eventually if it is a particularly bad night, but that's fine. It's been fine so far.
I've been doing push to talk all night.
I mean, it's not a bragging contest, Callum. And,
I'm stating facts.
okay. And so the kids, I was like, prove it. And then you can see like Odyssea just looks a bit puzzled, like just genuinely like confused or confounded. And he's like, how would you like me to prove it? And then does anybody want to just... Is anybody going to cut in before Eremos suggests something? Because you have
They're
that second...
transforming.
Because I was going to say, Eremos is obviously got that, like, his eyes have lit up. You know, he's just been asked, what does he want to see?
I straight up just want to ask, like, what do you know about the Black Fang spear?
Are you going to do that?
Yeah,
So
because
talk
I've got
me
this
through
like in
what
the back
Katie-
of my.
Yeah, talk us through it, right? Talk us through exactly what Katie does then. Yeah.
So I've been thinking about the interaction, like why we've been getting the kid, and like what would happen if they were to meet in the same room, which clearly nothing has sort of happened so far, but like if he gets closer to the child, what if something then happens, like it triggers something? So I just want to know what he knows about this weapon. So I'm just going to go, excuse me, Mr. Goldwyn, sir. Could you tell us about the Black Fang spear, by any chance?
And then it does kind of snap his attention away from Eremos. And he looks at you and he goes, Odyssea, you don't have to be so formal. And he kind of like nods very curtly, very quickly at you. And then he says, a black-fanged spear, you see.
I just sort of nod at him like, yup.
No, I don't know of anything by that name. And Eremos is
Okay.
about to, like, he's got his hand up, waiting for his turn.
Eremos.
Do I not the one being asked?
Everyone's like, no, Eremos, it's fine.
We're a guest here, Eremos. Show some decorum and politeness.
And like he takes offence to that, and like he folds his arms in front of him. He's like, well, I left my book downstairs, so I'm going to go get it. And he goes to walk out the room.
We've
I've got it.
yeah.
So like, he marches
Arya's
towards the
brought
room
it
and
with
then does that extended step where he changes direction halfway through it, and then walks towards Arya, and puts his hand out for his bag.
His entire bag.
So you hand him his bag, yeah?
Yeah.
And yeah, he takes the bag. If I ever ask you to repeat yourself, it's because I genuinely didn't hear you. So yeah, he takes the bag and he kind of just like grabs that and then like sits up on a chair with his feet extended all the way out that don't bend because he's small.
You're welcome.
And then he's like, that's why there's a chair for me. And then sits and like sulks into the bag. And then the great
Ever pick it up again?
and the great gold worm like kind of walks behind the table and sits, and as he sits, like this out of the golden light just appears another chair behind him, and he just kind of slumps into that, and he says, feel free to help yourselves, you must be travel weary. And then he says, tell me more of this black fang spear you speak of.
Celeste mentioned it as a weapon that she thinks could help with the troubles with her nightmare. With her troubles.
And he starts to like run his hand through his beard again, and he's like, yes, Celeste is vague at the best of times. And he's kind of like nodding just to the table in general, and
Do you have a way of contacting her?
he kind of just chuckles and he says, I used to, yes. It's not been something I've had to use for many, many years. And he's kind of like lost. think lost is maybe just the best term, really, because you can clearly tell the guy's worried about something. And you probably have a good idea what, given what yous have seen, right? Maybe Eric's a bit still awestruck, but like, yous know a good reason why he might be worried. If he's felt disturbances in the south, he's going to send people into the abyss to check it out on an expedition. And obviously it seems tied to Celeste's nightmare. So yeah, he just kind of sits there, and then like after a second or two of kind of a bit of deep thought from him, he says, yes, anyway, the expedition. I'll need you and Crumbar to go on this mission. As I said earlier to him, your companions are welcome to join. This is fine, so long as they're willing to put themselves in the danger. I cannot guarantee safety. There will be additional support from the Golden Citadel, but this isn't something I can guarantee, of course.
Thank you. I think my colleagues would like to join. I would like them to come anyway.
I mean, what would I get out of going on this adventure?
Who are you asking that to? Reach? Or?
Odyssey. I understand why I'm going with a party, but I don't know whether the abyss is like that's where I have to go. That sounds scary.
Yeah, not many people say the word or just the phrase like the abyss, right? Nobody really refers to it because most people that are aware of it like to pretend it doesn't exist. It's a big like tear in the world, essentially, a big kind of canyon that's about 200 miles long, and yeah, it's not ideal. Not great. Nothing good comes out of it, you know. That's why the Golden Citadel is so close to it as well, as a point of trying to protect the world from it. But Odyssey kind of just turns around to you and says, you don't need to go.
I don't.
And he nods kind of solemnly once and goes, I'm looking for people with courage in their hearts, not fear.
Burn.
Creatures from the abyss prey on fear. He kind of like looks at you as if I have taught you a great thing this day.
I'm just there, like snickering into my milk, like hehehe.
You mean your golden liquid?
Yeah.
You don't have milk.
That
You
somehow tastes
deserve
like
milk.
I was gonna say, you want to try it?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, it totally tastes like milk.
Yes.
It tastes like to me.
Purring in the corner.
What would you expect to drink? What did you drink when you were in the forest?
Be honeydew or something, or nectar, wouldn't it? It would be...
Whatever you have enjoyed the most whenever you've drank it is what you drink.
I get it. So it is what you wish the most. It's like the drink equivalent of Ariston's mirror.
Even if you didn't know it was your favourite drink, like if your favourite memory was from getting water from a stream because you were just old enough to carry the bucket back to the village, if that was your best memory of drinking something, it would be that you drank. Even if you think Arbor wine is the best thing in the world, you know? So
Sure. So something that made you happy to drink.
yeah,
Okay.
almost satisfied would be the word I would use.
So, in response to what Odyssey just said,
You mean
I would.
for a glowing guy, he threw a lot of shade, I know.
Yeah, I turn around to him and go, I have the courage, and I know I have the power. I just don't know if I have the capabilities to control this.
And he kind of he leans back in the chair, and it creaks a little under his kind of movement, and he says, courage is many things. And he kind of looks just across the table at everybody, and he kind of lingers on Eremos a little bit, who's still sulking to his back. And he's pulled like his book out slowly as people have been talking, and he's just started to write in it. He's not really been paying attention, he's zoned out. And yeah, he doesn't respond to you after that, he just says, courage is many things. he's already kind of. I mean, roll insight. There we go. That's a good insight possibility. Go roll insight on him, Aeric.
Oh god. One.
Quite literally. Yeah, it's not bad. So yeah,
The better rolls.
you've basically not inspired him with any faith in you, put it that way, because your immediate question was, why should I be involved? What am I getting out of it? And for him, paladins are noble, and this noble has essentially just went, what do I get? So
Well,
Lots of
I'm a
prize.
human.
yeah, I mean, there are human paladins.
Oh yeah, but human paladin
I
noble.
mean, literally, the paladin downstairs is human.
True.
So, yeah, he's it's almost as if you've already failed the job interview, so you'd have to do something to
Nice.
impress him, if that was something that you cared enough about to do. So it's not that he's questioned your courage; he's just questioning how much you fear going into it as well. Was his response. But yeah, you can definitely tell that he's clearly more interested in reach, and I mean, well, Kitty hasn't really done anything other than share information, so there's very little to go on about that. And obviously, you can clearly tell he's interested in Ermos. Ermos is an oddity.
Yes, he is.
I know, it's such an understatement, right?
Eric, there'll be plenty of experience. Your capabilities will grow, and you might help save the world. That's
Achievement
Sure.
unlocked for Stuart. Metagaming in RP.
none of that was metagaming. I
No,
don't
not
think,
at all.
was it?
Nothing at all.
Yeah.
No. Plus, it was an achievement unlocked how to successfully metagame into the RP. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Lots of experience will get your powers will grow. Love it. But yeah,
I kind of just look at Reach and nod.
what are you conveying with the nod though? What does it mean? Like,
just a yes, affirmative, good idea.
Acknowledge.
because
It's a more sure. It's not very convincing.
yeah, it's just kind of
After being backhanded by the Great Gold Worm, I'm a bit shaken over it.
yeah, understandable. So the gold worm says, again, kind of breaking the quiet. He's been sitting like at a drink, sipping at a drink, and then he sits a drink down and goes, "Unfortunately, I won't be joining the expedition. I am required elsewhere. If something is amiss in the abyss, I'll have to muster quite a force." And he kind of just like looks off into like the distance again.
Who all groaned?
Oh yeah. Like, rhyming's hard, okay. So yeah, is MD breaking the tension again, or?
Should we need assistance? How could we contact you? Could we contact you?
And he kind of, again, like his attention gets pulled away from wherever he was and looks down at you, Arya, and he kind of just smiles kind of really warmly, like, you've just went outside on a nice summer day and you lie down in the sun and it does that nice sun-kissed effect. Like, it's, again, very, very nice feeling that you get when he's kind of looking warmly at you. And he says, "Unfortunately, no. You wouldn't be able to contact me, but I am sending some of my most trusted and skilled men."
That's
And he kind of he laughs and he goes, "Exactly," and then like picks up his goblet and just smacks it into yours, whether you're holding it or not. So maybe it's one of those things where you can clearly see what he's about to do, and you kind of rush to grab. They got like you kind of hold it with two hands as it clatters into it.
I feel like he needs
Graceful
an athletics check for that.
No, we're good. But it definitely spills like golden liquid everywhere across the table, and then it takes a kind of big swig at that, and then kind of slams the cup down and like wipes his beard with the back of his hand, and then he says, "I like your spirit, Reach. Reminds me of me when I was younger." And he kind of like just pounds his chest once, and then he says, I was referring to the Golden Scale Company. They will be joining you. There are 5 of the best the Order has to offer, and with yourself and Crumbar, 7. A very fortuitous number. Your companions, as I said, are welcome to accompany you if you are indeed bound by Celeste. However, I wouldn't expect you to go on behalf of the Order. And he looks at, obviously, everybody that isn't Reach in the room. He then does say, however, I also would not cross machinations of Celeste. And then he kind of just slowly nods again down at the table, and then he goes, your companion Crumbar is securing passage to the Golden Citadel as we speak. You'll find him at the docks. And he kind of pauses, and then he looks at everyone, and he then says, are there any questions? Eremos has his hand up.
Oh dear.
But
I'd be curious to let him ask his question.
yeah,
See what
right,
it is.
so you're going to wait. Kitty, any questions for Odyssea, or are you going to let Eremos ask?
Gonna let the kid have his go.
Arya, questions for Golden Dragon Daddy, or
I'm gonna let him feel the pressure of that is a knowledge hungry child for once.
Aeric?
I'm just staring into my goblet, thinking.
Cool. So you probably haven't even noticed that Eremos has got his hand up.
Nope.
And then Odyssey kind of chuckles because he's got his hand up and he goes, yes, little one. And then he's like, can I have your autograph? Although I think he'd say signature in this world. I think the autograph would be a word they'd have, but he says, can I have your signature, please? And then he holds his book out and his quill.
Oh, please tell me there's a little drawing of a gold dragon or a dragon.
And then he kind of just sits in the chair as if totally shocked by the request, leans back and that kind of, oh, I didn't expect this today. He puts his hand out, takes the book, sits it down, and he goes, now if I am correct in thinking, I believe I overheard you looking for golden ink downstairs. And he just waves his hand and makes a bottle of golden ink appear. Sits it down. Says, do you have a quill for me to write with, or shall I use my own? And then Eremos just freezes and sits with his quill in his hand and just staring at it as if he doesn't know if he should let him write with his quill or want to see what his quill looks like, if that makes sense. Odyssea's quill versus Eremos's. Eremos is very precious. And then he says, and he kind of he stumbles over his words, and he's like, very few times has Eremos ever been lost for words, and he's like, I think you should use my quill. Let's use my quill. My quill was a gift. And then he holds it out. And then as Odyssey goes to take it, he's like, I want it back though. And then the Great Gold Worm obviously chuckles at that, takes it, and he says, he opens the book, and he's like, anywhere? Yes. And then he kind of flicks through the book. Now to everybody else looking at the book, he's flicking past blank pages.
Yeah.
But you can clearly see he goes so far into the book.
Can we see his eyes scanning the page?
Yeah, definitely. Those glowing orbs sticking out of his face, yeah, just pulsing light, and he's just, you can clearly see that he is, I would call them again ocular ridges, but yeah, his eyebrows and stuff definitely give enough away to show that he's clearly going to a specific point in the book.
Yes.
And he gets
Can
about
read whatever he's writing then.
he gets about halfway in, and then he just opens the page, and he kind of taps the book with his finger, and Eremos nods his head emphatically, when his hair kind of falls over his shoulders again, and then he dips the pen, or the quill I should say, into the golden ink, and then just starts writing his name. And then in gold ink is Odyssea's name. What languages does everyone speak?
Just out of
Common.
curiosity, would I
Oh God, I got all
know? There, like when you write your name, is that like some sort of like? Does it have some sort of like value or bond or debt or whatever? Like, does he in any way tie himself with us by just signing that piece of paper with his name?
So, roll Arcana for me, and I'll tell you what you know instinctively, right? So instinctively, and this has nothing to do with the Arcana roll, names have very little meaning in nature,
Mm-hmm.
right? So from a natural point of view, scents and presence mean more, okay? Maybe why you got a weird wave of nostalgia when you walked in this room. Almost like you felt something of an equatable pressure previously somewhere else. Okay? However, Arcana-wise, yes, names definitely have power. Definitely. Okay?
A wild Scot appears.
Indeed. So bear
Oh,
with me,
wow.
Scott. Bear with me.
So the fact that he's written his name there, does that in any way say that he's, I don't know, that we're under his protection or anything at all? I don't know.
You know that Ermos's books are weird, right? You know that, right? Like, very not normal, and you don't necessarily know if it's a magical thing or an extension of the jank that you believe Eremos to be, but there's something up with, obviously, Eremos's books. Odyssea writing his name in the book could be massive. Or it's maybe just a signature. But you know that if you were the right type of wizard with the right type of book and quill, getting somebody to write their name, especially them writing it themselves into the book, could be them bonding themselves in ways they don't know. You know? Yeah. But as I said, in nature, names have very little sway over anything, to be perfectly honest. Very little.
We can see his name in the book. Yeah.
You can see gold writing, but who here
Right, cool, right.
can read Draconic?
Me.
I can as well.
I can. That's
But you're not there. You're not. Swoosh. So
Mhm.
those who can read Draconic that are in the room, yes,
Yes.
you can read it. You can read his name, Odyssea.
Does it stay?
Yeah.
Like, does it?
It stays and it
You know
glows.
how? Oh, okay.
Yep, it is exactly what you'd imagine magically glowing gold ink to look like on a page.
Shiny.
Yeah, definitely. And then he kind of smiles after he writes it. Kind of looks at the quill and kind of like runs his like fingers up the quill, as if being reminded fondly of something. And then he kind of turns back to Eremos and hands him the quill very preciously. And he says, "You were correct. This was indeed a very fine gift for her to bequeath to you."
He knows.
And he kind of like, Eremos nods very excitedly as if like, yeah, but give me my quill back, you know. So, and then he gets the quill back and he's like, well, it's mine now. She gave it to me. It's mine. And then kind of clutches it and then he kind of puts his other hand out wanting the book back. And he goes, of course, like, closes the book over and then hands it back to Eremos, who like then just tries to use that one hand and awkwardly drag it along the table. So like pushes plates and stuff out the way. Odyssea then kind of just smirks a little bit and goes, "And what about the rest of you? Any questions?"
None.
Any
I
idea
just
what
sort of
we're
shake my head and start drinking more.
yeah. Any idea what we'll expect when we reach the chasm?
And then I think with that, he just looks up. Camera does that tighter focus on his face, and he just says, "Trouble." And I think we fade out on that meeting, and we fade in at the docks. Sometime later, since it's daylight again, early morning, etc. So anyone needs to have air quote long rested or whatever. You'll have rested overnight. If you want to, we can discuss what you spoke about overnight as well. But to catch Scott up very, very briefly, you were there in the room, obviously, with Odyssea. After he sat you back down, he explained that you're going on an expedition for the Golden Order to the Abyss.
Yay!
So yeah,
My favourite summer holiday.
you by the end of the story that he told you, you came back downstairs very automatically and very pale with what Odyssea had spoke to you of. Mostly, if something worries him, it should worry everybody. Put it that way.
Yeah.
And something troubles him from the abyss. He did also then say that it is in relation to Celeste's nightmare, which immediately brought the party up to speed on how much Odyssea seems to know about that.
Did he by any chance give me some neat swag?
No. He did give the kid a bottle of gold ink, though.
Oh.
Which is kind of awesome.
Also, it doesn't
Serves me right for missing out on the opportunity.
that's important, I think.
What was that, Arya?
And that's we would have shared with each other.
Never got any of that, sorry. Can you repeat any of it?
Oh, actually, he's not returned yet, has he? Crumbar's not returned to the group yet, has he?
Well, that was what happened to him in that moment in time, and then obviously we fast forward to the part where you are all at the docks, because Crumbar, you were also then sent away to go secure a ship to go to the Golden Citadel, which is obviously down south.
So
Yeah,
where?
what I was wondering is if we managed to catch Crumbar up to speed with the fact that, like, Odyssey knows a lot, but he doesn't know.
Well, yeah,
About
we'll have that
yeah.
the overnight in the Golden Order scene just now then, right? Let's have that now, right? So Crumbar comes back, you leave the company of the Great Gold Worm after your...
Yeah, because where have we stayed?
You stayed in the Golden Order.
Oh, okay.
In the hall. Rooms were provided.
Okay, so did we have individual rooms, or did girls share with girls, boys with boys?
The Order has a barracks. It's a room full of beds. So it is every day in, and then like the commander of it has a separate room.
Seeing that he's heard from, like, upstairs that the kid said downstairs that he wants ink, I think it's safe to assume that his hearing is, like, throughout the building. So we can't really speak of him without knowing. So we'll probably, like, catch each other up to speed. Maybe.
It's assuming he's even still in the city.
Yes.
Like, seeing the
See, I
Great
was
Gold
just
Worm is not an
wondering-
everyday occurrence, quite frankly. It's not common to meet
Yeah.
the Great Gold Worm. For example, Crumbar has maybe met him. Same with Reach, maybe once. Probably not, though. Generally not. I would say, in fact, you both want to roll a d20, and if you get 15 or higher, you can have met him. That makes sense, right? That's a 1 in 4 chance.
D20.
Well, while the... Yeah, D20.
Oh, well. Nope.
But, like, what I was getting at was basically if we were separated in our own sort of room, I could finally read the note Eremus was supposed to have left for the king. Because, kind of not done that yet.
You can go to the loop, just saying.
Yeah.
I mean, you can definitely go just wandering through the Golden Order if you wanted. I mean, there's nothing to keep you in the room, right? It's like because you're there, and the Great Gold Worm said, "Cool, these guys will be staying here." Like these are considered Golden Order temporarily.
Just so I can catch myself up, have I came back?
Yeah, you've come back from acquiring a boat for
Okay.
passage.
From
It'll leave in the morning. You've come back. You're in the barracks.
Crumbar has entered the room and sits down beside Reach, and turns to Reach and says, "So, was much discussed after I left?"
Fun enough. Only a little, but quite a lot.
It's almost like
Crumbar
Ryan
looks
wrote it.
confused.
Yes. We were all going south to the chasm to try and see what the trouble is, which the Odyssea knew about, and it sounds like Celeste has been talking to Odyssea. So, yeah, we're kind of working for both Celeste and Odyssea at the moment. Thank you.
Crumbar like slyly gestures towards the boy and asks him, "What does the great gold worm make of him?"
Great Goldworm's never heard of the Black Fang Spear. So that's interesting. But he quite liked the boy. So he gave him a bottle of ink. That's and
Well,
a signature.
that's one task down.
Yes, that's what I was thinking. It's probably the biggest task we've had so far.
I know. No, still no dragon though.
Well, no, he met the dragon, although I don't know if he was impressed or well. I don't know if he believed that Odyssey was a dragon, but yeah.
Crumbar has given a sigh of relief that
You've gone out the
nothing
group.
blew up.
So I'd walk over to Reach and just be like, "So can you show me where like the lavatory facilities are?" Within like
Yeah.
want to get him out of the room so we can check
Punch
out this
towards the
note.
bucket.
It reaches like, have I ever been in this order hall before?
I would assume it's a fairly standard layout. There's temples and all that usually have a fairly standard layout, but so I could figure it out easy enough. I would reckon. Yeah, they're this way. Off we go out.
Just point to the bucket in the corner.
I was thinking, yes, the plant pot over there is empty.
I just look at him very indignant, like,
I'm
the serious.
joking.
Also, the like all the bedposts and stuff.
I mean,
So
they're not prisoners.
all the bedposts and things are like solid gold, by the way. Like anything that is
It is
in here
adventure,
is like
you know.
made of gold, right?
Just like my room at home.
So pretentious.
Is it though? If it is gold and they're the Golden Order, is that pretentious or on brand? Like,
It is
I
a bit of a waste
mean-
of the club's resources, but
Yeah.
other than that, but yeah.
The club? You mean your order?
the country club.
Yeah, we play golf on Wednesdays.
And cricket on Thursdays?
with their golden clubs and golden
Never cricket.
wickets and such.
Anybody noticed last episode that Kitty stole a pan food, right?
Nope.
Okay, so
No
I
one
don't
is.
have a reason to be worried that she might try to steal something golden from here. Okay.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Please, that's a
We'll get to that. So
point.
yous have walked out to the corridor, right? Like yous are wandering through the corridors. Obviously reaches escorting Kitty to the latrine.
Yeah. I will say on
And
the
I
way
just-
when we get out the door, by the way, please don't touch anything here. Don't take anything here with you. It will come back to bite us if you do.
I just grab hold of my tail like, no, no battle.
I love the idea that if somebody knows you're a thief, and the idea that you pick up your tail and blame your tail, it's like such a like pathological kind of like problem. Like, it's clearly not me. It's the tail, of course. Of course, I would steal it. Like, naughty tail.
Yeah, I love the idea that our tail is just like Kitty's really a good-hearted citizen, and it's our tail that's just getting into a whole lot of shit.
It really does have a mind of its own, guys.
Yeah. So you say that to obviously your tail. Do you talk about anything else in the corridor? Well, you've got a bit of privacy.
Well, it's just I'm trying to check doors as I go past them. I think that's probably why he turns around and goes, "Yeah, don't steal anything." And I'm just like, no, I'm just trying to find an empty room.
Yeah, I mean, like you could probably like, if you're gonna go check rooms, yeah, you could probably find something, yeah.
Search for
No,
hidden
we'll
doors.
Just more like an empty room so we can actually go and talk in private.
A prayer room, no doubt. There'd be one nearby, no doubt. Yeah.
Or
Right,
So I find one and like poke my head in, see that it's empty, and like go, "Psst, in here, in here."
Right, pop in.
And so I pull out the note that Eremos left behind and just sort of present it like, "Da-da!"
Is that? Yeah, that's okay. That's the one there. Is it? Look at it. Can I see any writing on it?
are you gonna open it then? Because remember, you have to.
Oh,
It's all
is it
folded
actually
up.
sealed like wax
No,
sealed or
it's just
what?
all folded up. 'Cause you didn't have time to do a wax
Folded up.
sealing.
Right,
this is all you see.
yeah, open it up.
And then, yeah, so you're both going to be reading the note.
Yes.
Yeah.
It just says, "I've gone." Just 2 words. Well, technically 3 because I don't think they'd use contraction, so I have gone.
No, okay. I just sort of look at it and go, oh.
And it
Sort of
is,
like flip it over, look at it again. I'm like, oh,
and
okay.
it's been signed Eremos, the Black Fang Spear. Because of course.
So if we didn't already know,
I
if we
could
didn't
just
already
see-
know,
Could have figured that out in the first day, well, second day, was it? Yeah.
I just sort of look like a little bit defeated, like my ears flop, my tail's just limp, like, oh.
I could see you just scrumpling it up and throwing it in the corner, very disappointed.
I mean, he's not wrong though, is he? I mean, he has gone, so
Yeah.
Gone fishing.
it is the equivalent of just that, back in 5 minutes type thing. But yeah, so what do you do? Now you're in like this random, let's say it's a storage room.
Just go back, I guess.
Yeah.
Like
one
I'll
thing-
wait a little bit, send Reach back first, and then like I'll follow behind a few minutes later.
That note, probably don't want Eremos to have any chance of ever finding it, just in case. So how about just burn it? I'm guessing Golden Dragon's got a wee fire
I mean, there's
offerings, or
there's like candles and stuff, and like sconces in the walls and stuff, so you can see inside. So yeah.
yeah. I just
The
don't
place
want
is
to leave
lit.
the ashes lying about on the floor as well. Though, is there somewhere where the ashes could go?
I mean, a lot of the rooms have fires, right? Like big fireplaces.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, you
good
could
point.
you could head to one of those, or like braziers and stuff like that, in like bigger open areas like courtyards and stuff.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, there's like training grounds within this order hall as well. So
So does anything happen when we burn the note? Does it like any special flames, or is it just it's literally just a bit of paper?
where
Because
you
it was
sticking
out in my book, I think, into the fire pit.
Not out into the very open, just in case, but in our
No,
room
just like
has got
the fireplace.
a chimney or something, fireplace. Yeah.
Right, so definitely not back into the barracks room then.
No.
You could take it back to the office you were in. That'll have a big fire. The room you're in just have like candles on the walls and sconces and whatnot. There's no like big fire in the kind of the storage room that you're in.
And everybody else is in the barracks. Yeah, we'll go back to the office then.
Well, people are scattered throughout the hall. Obviously, you need to have people awake at all times. But yeah, you could go head back to the office. It's not unusual.
What
So we-
time of day is this anyway?
This is late.
It's late now. Yeah.
Like late.
Well, like everybody's, who's not on shifts in bed. Yeah.
Right, cool.
Because as I said,
10, 11, 12, whatever. But,
you have done the day of travelling. You have got here. You've met the Great Gold Worm. Lots of chat and feeding was happening because I assume you stayed and ate food and such after he left. And then
Yeah.
I like
so.
I like food.
when you walked back into the room, you were probably like holding a platter full of stuff. And then yeah.
Meat.
So you just head down to like, oh, you want to head up, sorry, to the office or something? Yeah.
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 Because like the reception area and stuff like that had like a big fire and whatnot. Obviously the entrance hall. As I said,
But that's quite a public place.
like the centre of the place down the bottom has like a big kind of like training courtyard that has braziers all around the sides of it. You could go out there because I mean it's nighttime. It's not likely to have people there. It's up to you. You can honestly like just tell me where you want to go.
We'll go to the office.
Yeah. I'd still rather go to the office. Yeah, go do that.
Yeah.
We'll use the excuse of we wanted some more of the delicious golden drink stuff.
Liquid.
Yeah.
What? What's this now?
We'll catch up. Don't worry. And by that I mean just listen to the recording when it goes live. So they you just head to the office. Do you knock or just go in?
We knock first because it is the commander
Knock.
person's office.
Yeah. Knock. Yeah, knock. Yeah. I was basically knock because we're opening the door, but nah, just knock. Yeah.
You knock and you hear, "Come in."
Yeah, I was waiting for you to say that.
So who is it who's in there? Is it the normal
Commander.
commander dude now?
Yep.
I just poke my head in and go, just wanted to see if there was any more food left in here from Odyssea. No? Okay, bye.
And give me a second. I'll get a name for this dude. Let's see.
Bob the dwarf.
For God's sake.
He has to show up at some point.
Let's see.
Yeah, but I think we've established this guy isn't a dwarf already.
I mean,
Oh.
we haven't established what the commander looks like at all. But
Oh, okay.
let me see if I can find a good name. So, I think, where are we?
Callum the dwarf.
Male names, please. Okay, that's an interesting name. So it's Commander Slelbas. There we go. And he is a gnome. And I love it.
It's a gnome.
God, that would have looked great, the 8-foot Odyssea next to this gnome. I'll spell that for you guys. I'll put it in one of the mini chats. Let me do that now.
I don't know what I've done because it's not letting me add to the notes anymore. If
Really?
somebody could add the name, then that would be brilliant.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah.
There you go. Gnome Commander of the Glitterhagen Golden Order. For those of you that work for the Golden Order, there is a hierarchy system. Obviously, the Great Gold Worm is most of it. And then you've got essentially the High Commander of the Golden Citadel. So the Commander of the Golden Citadel is generally considered the guy in charge of all of the Order Halls. And then each Order Hall has a Commander. And then there's obviously the troops within are reassigned a lot. Some people might spend their entire life in an Order Hall, some people might not. It's really not strange to like have them be reassigned to different places. So yeah. But yeah, so essentially, like, commanders are considered like 3 steps away from being in charge, you know?
Yeah.
They're quite a big deal. And this guy is probably 6 steps away because of his height, you know? Aye, so, Slelbas. It's a horrible name, isn't it? I love it. Maybe now you're finally noticing that this guy has in fact been tiny the whole time. Considering that most of the focus would have been on Odyssea. Yeah.
I have this image that he has to stand on the table when he was talking to Odyssea.
Just several boxes.
Maybe got
And
books
even then, it
piled.
will still be like super tiny in comparison.
Right, so you obviously walk in, or like, you know, he says come in. Do you actually go in, or do you just not go in? What was the...
Well, Reach knocks on the door, and we both hear the come in, and I'm just like, oh, okay. And I just like, I whisper, I've got this. And like just open it, poke my head in. And obviously, when the dragon dude disappeared, the food kind of disappeared with him, I'm assuming. So it's just like...
The table stayed. You actually stayed for a bit, and obviously you fed and whatnot, rested and such. Sated yourselves.
Did we drink all of the gold liquid?
I mean, it was all still there, so there was like crafts of it in the middle of the table and stuff like that.
Oh, okay, so I'm just like, I just came to get one of those things there, sir, if that's okay, Commander Person, sir.
And he kind of like looks at you and he twitches his little mustache, and he's like, why of course, and you come, ma'am.
Fantastic. Just like slide in, just sort of motioning to Reach, like just stay there. Just I've got this. You sort of
Right.
tiptoe in. Well, I don't know what I'm tiptoeing. Just like cat paws, I guess.
And as you like lift one of the carafes of like I guess wine question mark, he's like, take 2, you know, otherwise I'll just drink it.
Can I carry 2?
Yeah, they're big jugs, but they're like, you know.
Can I do a strength check?
I mean, you can, yeah. We'll see how awkward this is.
Because it'd be really funny. Where am I? Oh no. No, that's stealth. Where's strength? Where have I
It's
gone?
just your stats.
Oh, it's at the top, isn't it?
Yep.
Do you want to do it? Press it.
I don't have particularly good art, but I do have some attempt at art. Just not bad
It's
for
just
a
not
non-paladin.
letting me select.
That's
Oh crap! Okay. Oh, there we go. Now it's registered.
That is so good.
So we'll take the first one then, which is the 11.
So
Yeah.
I can only manage one.
No, like you manage. Like it's not a particularly difficult
Oh, okay.
task. It's just not graceful in any way. But it's one of those things where like you go to lift one, and then you go to lift the other one, and then you have to like balance one of them against like your shoulder and your cheek, and then you have the other one
Yeah.
like balanced, and then you've got your arm kind of around like the neck of it, like as if it's through
It's
the
like sort
the
of
arm of it,
on the hip area,
Yeah.
and
and you're kind of walking with that kind of slow waddle because you know the kind of liquid sloshing inside it, and like the gnome just watches the entire thing like Quill, like with ink dripping from it, just staring at you as you slowly walk out the door, and the door slowly closes as your tail whips through it. And then we click back to everybody being back in the barracks.
Yeah.
So while you guys were
Did we
away,
think-
what did
yeah, cool.
what did Arya and Ermos and Aeric and Crumbar talk about?
I ask Arya and Crumbar, what's the Black Fang spear?
I like the idea of you both just pointing at the kid.
I don't like
That's exactly like just yeah. Let's just go with that. We both, Crumbar and Arya, just look over at the boy and just point.
So as you do,
Just know that
Aeric-
the kid knows he's the sword, that he's the spear.
He just knows he's called the Black Fang Spear. He doesn't know he's the weapon.
as we have that shot though, Aeric asks that question, and then both Crumbar and Arya, who frame the shot left and right, and in the middle they both thumb towards the middle in the background, which is the bed at the other side of the barracks, and the kid's KO'd with his head on his book.
Nah.
Is his head on the signature? Like he's just been staring at it as he's gone to sleep.
No, like the book's
Yeah.
closed, and he's kind of just like using it as a
Oh.
pillow.
Okay.
Use it as a
I thought
pillow.
he would be nuzzling his cheek into it.
But no, he's using it as a pillow. And then, yeah, so what else?
I'm surprised it's not an actual spear, but a child.
Crumbar kind of like gives him a sad kind of look and just says, "Me too."
It's not expected.
Nope.
So far, he doesn't seem to have done any kind of weaponry either. So I don't really know how if he is such a weapon, how it's used.
Maybe there's magic hidden inside him that makes him a weapon. We already know those things that other kids can't do.
Yeah, like piss off the entire party.
No, I'm sure that's age
A
specific.
generic skill, yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you don't want to actually specifically say anything in private, like we can just skip to the part where they two rejoin us.
I mean, is there a chance that I could go to like my residence to stay instead of staying in a barracks?
I mean, that's a good question. Why are you still here?
Exactly.
Like, I mean, maybe we
Just
should...
go home.
So yeah, maybe you get up to go leave, and then as you go to leave, you bump into them two in the hallway. Obviously, they're like just walking in the door to the barracks as you're about to leave, and then obviously we can ensue the conversation from there. So Reach, Kitty. Reach is probably going first to open doors for Kitty.
Yeah.
He's not taking the
Aeric.
crate off me. I'm still struggling.
What is it? Sorry. What is it that you picked up again? Sorry.
2 giant jugs.
What of?
Golden liquid that tastes is the best drink you've ever had.
All right, cool.
The drink you've enjoyed the most.
Yeah, enjoyed the most. That's it. Yeah. Aye. Eric, hello. Where are you off to? Where are you going?
I'm off to my house. As much as I would like to stay here with a party, I would rather go to my residence and stay the night there. You're all welcome to join me if you want a comfier bed, separate rooms.
I think maybe as you do that and you look over your shoulder at the rest of the party further in the hall, and it just has like this ridiculously ornate room, super well decorated. It's like what people imagine the Pope's bedroom to be like, So yeah, and it's like comfier beds.
Sleeping, I'm like, we're not moving.
Can Crumbar see them now?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're in like an open like almost dorm.
Well, while they're in mid-conversation, Crumbar walks up, snatches one of the jugs out of Kitty's hand, and just necks the thing.
Yeah. So
How dare you, sir?
make a Constitution save.
Me?
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't even have the character sheet open.
So the reason we're doing this is because I think we can all guess what liquid Crumbar has.
Oh, he nailed it.
So
Nailed it.
So-
well done.
you don't actually say anything for about 5 minutes, so we'll have the rest of their conversation because you're busy necking it, and it's not just like what the craft doesn't seem to have emptied. Keeps going, so you're still
So
drinking it.
I'm just sitting there glugging out of a bottomless
So literally,
mug.
we just hear glug, 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 glug. Your eyes narrow, glug, 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 and then. So yeah, Aeric has offered the party to go with him. What does everybody else say?
Yes.
I point towards the sleeping kid, and I'm like,
Actually,
There's
Animus is already asleep.
Yeah,
No.
but he doesn't weigh much. You could carry him.
Doesn't make much. Good point. But
Yeah.
We've got a half orc. Pretty sure you can launch him over his shoulder.
I think we had a half orc. Somebody might be carrying him soon as well.
True.
No, he has done very well.
waking him up, and he might ask a million questions again.
I'm 50-50. That's easy, is it?
Yeah.
What's anybody else mind just slumming it in the barracks, or do we want comfy beds for the night?
Well, the fact that it's
The only
like
thing
all
that we
gold.
might get that we don't have here is we know that we can talk there without the golden worm possibly overhearing.
Just depends where you feel safer, with this guy who you just met today, or in the Golden Order.
But you know nothing about.
Yeah, would be safer. We would feel safer.
But Celeste has made
Some
contact
Celeste,
with Aeric, unless Aeric has been a spy stalking the party and overhearing everything you've been saying since the beginning.
I think if I'm being honest here, it's in half a dozen for me, for example.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like as well, like, you're probably somebody that really specifically feels like you can take care of yourself regardless. So, what's the thoughts? Because I think at this point you pretty much have to vote.
Right.
Who's
Eric,
gonna-
I think you could manage slumming it just for one night. Actually, for one night, and however long it takes to take the boat ride across.
There is something I need to do before I leave.
Ah, okay. No, that's different. Yeah.
I think Crumbar's wanting to stay, to be honest, as well, considering by the amount of glugs, like, he seems to be comfortable here, and
Crumbar, lift your hammer. Yeah, lift your hammer if you like a comfortable bed.
2 seconds.
But yeah, so Aeric, I think it's really on you then. Are you actually going to stick with the party? Because in the morning they're going to get onto a boat and leave.
I mean, like, I will come back if they're.
But I mean, you've not told them this. So maybe you need to have more dialogue with them. So you've just
If
told
you
them, I need
guys-
to go and obviously I have things I need to go do. ...
I'll like, okay. I turn and look at Reach and say, I'll be back before morning arrives if you guys are staying here.
Yes, we obviously we'll be leaving with the tide, but we won't leave a minute before. So yeah, if you can get back before then, that'd be brilliant.
I won't be too long.
Great.
Yeah, it's like at dawn or first light or, when the best wind kicks off.
whenever
Well,
we manage
Aye.
We're leaving
to
with the
get
tide.
Crumbar to
Yeah, if it's in a port. Town probably knows that when the tide is.
Keep in mind the Midland Sea's magically created currents for the efficient boat travel. Because
That would mean that it's the same time every day then.
it means
Make
that
it easier.
it means that if you specifically pay the right authorities, your boat will go faster.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
First light then.
Yeah. So essentially, it's the equivalent of getting up at and leaving at say 6, 7 in the morning. Equivalent if they had the times the same as we did. So yeah, Eric, do you take your leave then?
I do.
Cool. You swish your cloak and leave.
I mean, it kind of makes sense because he would have to pack, whereas we already have everything.
You've gone out the chat.
Do you indeed head home, or do you go somewhere else?
I do head home, yes.
Cool. Do you want to tell us why now, or?
I go home, contemplating that I have a big adventure ahead of me. I go into the room that I reserved for in memory of my parents, and I kind of kneel down in front of the family picture of me, them, and siblings, and say, "I'll find you someday," and then kind of go gather a load of coloured inks for Aeric.
Yeah, and I think what we have is we have that kind of music swell as you head through the dark room, and you maybe even if you pass servants going into rooms on different floors, and it's maybe your siblings that obviously the hallways are those really tall halls with no light in them, almost like the house is half abandoned even though there are people in it, and you get to the big family room as it were. You do your kneel in front of the family portrait. You do your "I will find you someday," and then maybe we end on the shot of you just walking by a desk and you scooping a bunch of ink bottles into a bag and swinging it on your back, and then the door closing, and that's when we fade out and we end the session there. Okay, that's pretty good.
Excellent.
Yeah, guys, that was a lot of fun. What are we calling it?
Plug.
Log.
I mean, it's up to you guys.
You could call it
I vote
Deceit.
for
Our
a golden
golden guys showing a lot of hate.
So feel free to type what you like, and we'll do a wee vote on it just now. There was so much there. I really like, obviously, as you can probably imagine,
You really like what?
Celeste's Nightmare.
I see. Oh,
Oh yeah, that's
I also like. Where are we here? Yeah, it was for a glowing guy, but yeah, for a golden guy, yeah, it's good. God, there's so many good ones in this one, isn't there?
actually, prove you're a dragon.
Sorry,
Sorry,
Chloe.
Chloe.
Yeah.
It's okay, but
I
yeah,
think-
I think you might be onto a winner there. I'm not gonna. I do like Mr. Goldworm, sir. Is so good though as well. I think, obviously, I'm gonna just. My favourite of all of those, to be honest, is probably that one. So,
Prove you're a dragon.
but use pick what you like the most as well, because it is a group effort. So, I've been through games where I've named every session and I made them alliterative, and it was an experience. So, yeah.
yeah. I like Prove You're a Dragon.
Cool, and that's what we've got. Prove you're a dragon. I'll add it into our session tracker. Prove you're a dragon. You are a dragon.
Glug.
Prove you're a dragon. Right, so if we add last session and this session's XP, these are getting 100 for each session. So session 4 was worth 100 and session 5 was worth 100. Just so you know. So these are essentially adding 200 to your totals.
Woo, 500.
Yeah. Meeting the Great Gold Worm is a big deal.
One of those once in a lifetime things, eh?
Yeah.
Wait, so we'd pop an XP to 500, yeah?
You add 200 to what you have, yeah.
have it. How would? Okay, yeah, fair enough.
Also, guys, that was the end of chapter 1.
There's
I
chapters.
can't move my thing over to. I can't get to my XP thing.
So it's 200 that we added, eh?
Yeah. As everybody will have 500 in total. Yeah. We can get
Everybody
that
should
later.
have 500 XP, yeah. XP total should be 500. That should be...
Or your
Just a
DM
few.
might be able to go in your character sheet for you and add it on.
when I'm on the right page. Yeah, totally. Let's see. Who needs their sheets edited? Just the girls?
No, I'm fine.
You've got it, Sophie?
I'm on my
Yeah.
laptop, Sophie's on her.
Right, let's see.
Um,
Sophie, where
I'll
are
put
you?
that
Where did I
might
put you?
be the
Okay,
difference
cool.
there.
Oh yeah, how's it working out on the tablet?
It's all right. I mean, I've only had to like do actions once. It was a bit funny when I was trying to do the strength one. It spanned out a little bit.
Yeah, is
Well,
that
it's
all
not
right?
too
Is that
bad.
what that-
Right, so before we go
Yeah.
off topic too far as well, let's go down for our moments now. So, Aeric, you going to start us off?
Oh, with what I thought of the session.
Yeah, just like whatever the highlight of the session was for you.
Being bitch slapped down by the great gold worm. Not many people could say that happened to
I mean, yeah,
Not
that's
many
true.
11 people, I guess. But yeah.
Well, like, I suppose you can't say you got bitch slapped then lived, because I only got verbally bitch slapped.
It is true. It's a very important distinction for health reasons. Oh, okay, yeah, that's pretty good. It's a pretty good moment. It was nice to get a bit more of Aeric in this session, for me at least. It was awesome to get a bit more, especially with our finale kind of shot being on you. It was quite a nice way to end kind of chapter 1 on our newest person. I think that's kind of cool. Almost with the kind of Bruce Wayne-esque moment we had
Yeah.
against the family portrait. What about you, Arya?
I think I most enjoyed seeing Eremos completely and utterly lose it. Like, dropping everything and looking under, every available surface looking for the dragon. I just thought that was really cute. A really cute moment. And
Yeah, it makes you wonder what
So-
size he thinks a dragon is, doesn't it?
yeah, so very much what to expect Eremos to be like. Or at least what I expect him by now.
No, I enjoyed that too. It was good. Yeah. And Crumbar, what did you enjoy?
Glug.
Glug.
She knows me so well.
That's not his answer, that's just what he's still doing.
Pretty much, yeah.
Just the next
Um,
week.
If we don't start the next week's one with Glug, I'm going to be very disappointed.
I'm gonna make a note. So it's like, this is gonna be my whole day, isn't it?
Just randomly message the group, Glug.
Honestly, I'm just happy I got back in time.
Yeah, it was nice to get a bit of you on there.
But yeah,
it was-
yeah. My bad, guys.
that's okay.
That happens.
But yeah, I like actually being here for a bit of it and knowing what's happening.
Definitely. As I said, you did have a side quest to go talk to a guy about a boat, so that was something.
Yeah, I got you guys a boat.
Hope it's a nice boat.
It's
It's
like
like gold, though.
It's not the basic.
it's a raft with 2 paddles, mate.
The game manager now has chapter 1's title in it as well, by the way, if anybody wants to go have a wee nosy at that. If somebody wants, whoever gets there first can read it out as well.
Where is this?
It's in the game manager, which is in the party
Alright.
hub on the drive, which I think everybody should have access to. Also, at some point during the week, I will tag. I'll share with everybody, if I remember your email addresses, an individual player folder with a document that you can type in your own player development and notes and whatnot in it. Specifically
yeah.
to be kept private between us if we're developing your character in ways.
Yeah.
Like our one. Yeah.
Exactly. Callum was first to get one
Oh,
because
right.
I decided to commit to doing that when me and him were chatting about stuff and we were putting ideas. So yeah, choice of weapon. I'll give you that. That's the
Hammer!
chapter 1 title.
Hammer!
So yeah, we do have our Hammer Bros, and we've got though not through choice, sunset in a song, out of reach, an inkling, and prove you're a dragon. And I feel like, given the chapter 1's title, those fit quite well. So that's been pretty good. A choice of weapon, though not through choice. Choice of weapon, out of reach. Yeah, it's good. It's good. But yeah. So, Kitty, moments.
I quite like the bit towards the end where Crumbar was just typing in the chat, glug, glug. And then,
Sound effects.
yeah, but like I just like the idea of the chat being like the background thing. So like it's not being said, physically being said, but it's still happening.
Yeah, because if anybody was watching it,
it's like not interrupting the narrative, what's going on. It's just, yeah.
It is still there
like,
in the background, yeah.
Yeah.
As I say,
and because obviously your name is at the front, it's like Kitty LaKill looks at Crumbar with disgust and awe.
What about you, Reach?
I actually think I played it wrong, you know. I'm a monk who's just met his god. I should have been spilling my guts out to him, telling him everything. And I've been curious how it went, kind of thing. But it probably would have went better, but couldn't have gone much better anyway.
What we'll do is I'll write a Wednesday game. We'll do a parallel game, right? We'll try and get everybody to this point, and then the what if game.
But still, yeah, okay. But I did, yeah. That's, to be honest, enjoyed the whole game. I like the progression. There was no specific bits, I would say. Like, although the kid running past me when I was shouting down about the dragon, that was
good.
Quite fun. Yeah.
It's still really weird to try and play some kind of god dragon man and a 10-year-old child in the same scene. That's completely fun, honestly.
Also think I should have been worried about a 10-year-old child running into a dragon's den, but other than that...
Yeah, it's definitely something, right?
I mean, you worship that dragon, so you'd have some sort of trust in that dragon.
Yeah, I'd probably let me eat the child, but yes.
I mean, I think everyone here is in favour of the dragon eating the child.
Yep.
I mean, if it happens.
No one's going to specifically be outraged, as it were, verbally.
That kind of way, like we would just be at the back going, no, stop.
Well, that's us done. Chapter.
It's like not even really paying attention. Like just like if they had technology, but that'd be like on our phones, like just no, don't do it. While scrolling through Facebook, like look at this guy.
Presses F.
Oh no, stop.
As I said, presses F is what we'd do as a society. But on that note, guys, thanks for playing. It was nice to actually get the full party at the end of it as well. And goodbye, anyone who listened thus far. Thank you very much. Say goodbye, everybody.
Excellent. Thanks.
Ciao.
Bye.